Howdy y'all, Stock Warden here, back with another video. In today's video, we're looking at AST Space Mobile and what is driving the stock into its new resistance line along with the Q1 earnings report. So, as it stands, the stock has slid after the Q1 report. And a lot of that ended up coming from quite a few different metrics that ended up coming in as a miss. So they ended up reporting a loss of 66 cents a share on 14.74 million in revenue, missing the consensus calls for a loss of 23 cents a share and 37.6 million in revenue. So that is a huge difference in their losses, where the estimate was 3 times better than what they actually ended up losing out on. So it was a huge hit for Q1 on AST Space Mobile. So the company said that their revenue was driven by gateway deliveries and U.S. government milestones were met. So while total operating expenses were $164 million, which almost half of that, which is $73 million, tied to depreciation and amortization with stock-based compensation. So AST Space Mobile ended the quarter with about $3.5 billion in cash, cash equivalents, and restricted cash as of March 31st, 2026. But the miss is refocusing attention on burn and timing. So the stock's pre-market drop also comes in after seeing all of the overhang clearing narrative. So, which a lot of those is showing where the Rockton is still holding a 5% stake, or roughly 15.5 million shares, after they had a huge sell at $65 a share in the sale of roughly 4.5 million shares. So that was another reason seeing the stock slowly dip for as long and as far as it did. So that's definitely a huge key to be able to see that. So now on some of the levels to be able to pay attention to as we continue bridging into the next upcoming week. So they're trading just above its 200-day moving average. So it's still below most of their shorter trend gauges. So they're trading just a little bit below their 20-day moving average. So, but that's also stating at it being below on the short term and near on the long term. So the setup is probably going to end up continuing keeping this turned between $75 and $80 a share from what this flag and drop is looking like. If I had to make a solid educated guess on where the momentum for this is going. But the momentum is also seeking more range bound than stretched. So RSI is 53.72. So, and that's a neutral reading that suggests the sell-off is more about repricing expectations than a deeply oversold washout trend. So with that having a mixed structure and the 20-day and the 50-day moving average being just on the bearish aspect of things, is somewhat showing a golden cross, kind of like it did back in June of 2025, where it showed a huge jump shortly after. So as it stands right now, we still have a solid key resistance at $84 a share, like what we had stretched across on our last video with AST Space Mobile. So we'll make another stretch of that right here. Let's see. So then now we can see where it's been stating. So where we just ended back on last Friday, where it closed at 83.67 a share. So it still needs a little bit more to be able to consider a breakout. So then we go down to the key support, and I would suggest that the support is going to be roughly in the $73 to $75 a share. So I'm going to pitch a line right into the $74 a share, where we see quite a few of these tops and bottoms stretching all the way back into March. So with all of that, you can also see a lot on how the pre-market is going to be doing starting tomorrow. So with the stock definitely making a strong comeback over the course of the last week, it's not going to be surprising at all if they are able to make a good breakout over this $84 a share. There has been a whole mass of new targets that have been coming out since the Q1 earning report. To start out, B. Riley adjusted their price target to $85 from $75, and they're maintaining a neutral rating. So that kind of seems to have already been met. Same thing with UBS. They're adjusting the price target to $80 from $85, maintaining a neutral rating. Then you also have the let's see. The New Street Initiates has also put a $80 price target on AST Space Mobile with a neutral rating as well. So it's definitely all kind of in the same ballpark. But as it stands right now, the shares are continuing to rise as investors are weighing the new launch timeline that's been put forth. You know, even though Q1 was a bit of a loss, they're still edging higher with all of these new send-offs that they're doing with these satellites. So definitely can't stop and sleep on this stock at all, because the momentum for this stock is coming back, even though the Q1 result didn't show. But it's also showing something extremely strong with them having such a heavy miss and the stock rebounding as well as it is. So that shows really strong sentiment, and also some really strong investments happening as well for this company. So as it stands right now, that is all I have on AST Space Mobile. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to drop a comment and a like and subscribe as well. So, and if you have made it this far into the video, please, if you would, drop a stock that you might hold in your portfolio, or a company that has a stock ticker that you've been wanting to learn a little bit more about, to see if you want to buy or sell, or even do some different interim trades with said company and stock. I'd love to be able to bring another stock out to the YouTube community for all you guys to be able to get that much more diverse in your portfolios, so then we can all grow better. So, with all that being said, this is the Stock Warden riding off. So y'all come back now, you hear?